Have you ever felt like life is moving too fast, like chaos is running your days, and no matter how hard you try, nothing seems to line up? What if I told you that the life you've been waiting for, the clarity, the peace, the purpose, you already have the power to create it? Today, I want to show you how to stop waiting for the perfect moment and start forcing yourself to take control. Because the moment you decide to organize your life is the moment everything begins to change. Sometimes we wait for life to slow down, don't we? We wait for that perfect moment when things will just magically fall into place, when the chaos that surrounds us will suddenly clear, when clarity will hit us like a lightning bolt and suddenly we'll know what to do. But the truth is, life rarely gives us a perfect moment. Life doesn't pause and say, here you go. Now you can organize yourself. Life moves fast, it moves messy, and if you're not careful, it will sweep you along and leave you drowning in your own clutter, in your own unresolved thoughts, in the pile of undone tasks and unmet dreams. That's why you have to force yourself to organize your life. You have to decide that enough is enough and take control of the chaos. I want you to hear me when I say this. You cannot wait for motivation to find you. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the wind. It is not the thing that will get you up and moving when your life feels scattered. Discipline is what organizes you. Discipline is what allows you to sit in the midst of confusion and still take steps to create order. And here's the kicker. Discipline often feels uncomfortable. Discipline asks you to do things you don't feel like doing, to face what you've been ignoring, to look at the corners of your life that are dusty, cluttered, or broken, and say, I will handle this. And it is in that moment, in that uncomfortable, inconvenient choice, that your life begins to shift. You have to start with your mind. If your mind is chaotic, your life will be chaotic. Thoughts that run wild, ideas that are half-formed, dreams that you speak but don't plan for. They all crowd your mind and pull you in every direction. You have to write down what matters, prioritize what is non-negotiable, and let go of what doesn't serve your growth. Your mind is a garden, and if you do not tend it, weeds of doubt, fear, and distraction will overtake it. So you have to force yourself to sit down, take inventory of your thoughts, and decide which seeds you will nurture and which weeds you will uproot. Then comes your time. Time is your most valuable resource, yet it slips through your fingers because we often treat it carelessly. You have to map out your days. You have to map out your days. Yes, even when it feels restrictive or tedious, even when you feel too busy, even when it seems like you are already overwhelmed, you must carve out intentional moments. Organizing your life is not about rigidity. It is about creating space for what matters most. It is saying, I will not allow the noise to dictate my day. I will create my rhythm every hour, every minute. Every choice about what you give your attention to is a declaration. And when you force yourself to schedule, to plan, to be intentional, you create freedom amidst the demands of life. Your physical space matters too. Have you noticed how your surroundings affect your mind? Cluttered rooms, piles of papers, half-finished projects, neglected corners, they are visual representations of a scattered life. You must take responsibility for the spaces you inhabit. Clean your environment. Organize your belongings. Make a place for everything and put everything in its place. This is not just about aesthetics. It's about creating an external reflection of internal order. When your environment is organized, your brain is clearer, your stress decreases, and your creativity expands. It is easier to think, easier to act, easier to pursue the life you are meant to live. And yes, I know this can feel overwhelming. You might be looking at your life and thinking, where do I even start? Start small. Start with one drawer, one notebook, one corner of your home. Small victories build momentum. They create proof that change is possible. And as you see progress, no matter how tiny, your confidence grows. You start to believe that you can take bigger steps, tackle more areas, and gradually your life begins to feel manageable. Small actions compounded over time lead to transformation. Next, you have to force yourself to confront your relationships. Next, you have to force yourself to confront your relationships. Just as your space and your schedule reflect order or chaos, so do the people around you. Are the people in your life helping you grow, or are they keeping you stuck in cycles of distraction, drama, or stagnation? Organizing your life means being intentional about who you allow close. It doesn't mean abandoning everyone. It means creating boundaries. It means deciding that you will no longer give energy to relationships that drain you, that distract you from your purpose, or that undermine your growth. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, who encourage you, who support the person you are becoming, and you will find that your life starts to feel lighter, freer, and more focused. Your health cannot be ignored either. You cannot organize a life when your body is running on chaos. Sleep, nutrition, movement, these are not luxuries, they are necessities. They are the fuel for your mind, your spirit, and your actions. When you force yourself to take care of your body, you create energy to handle the responsibilities of your life. You show yourself that you matter enough to prioritize self-care, and in doing so, you set a standard for your life that says, I am worthy of order, I am worthy of discipline, I am worthy of peace, and there will be resistance. Oh yes, there will be resistance. Life will tempt you with excuses. I don't have time, I'm too tired, I'll do it later. Do not listen to these lies. Resistance is proof that you are on the right path. Resistance is proof that you are stepping into discomfort that is necessary for growth. Force yourself past it. Get up when you don't feel like it. Sit down when your mind resists clarity. Write down when your energy is low. Clean up when your body wants to rest. Make the uncomfortable choice and watch how life begins to bend to your determination. Forgive yourself for the mess of the past. Sometimes we avoid organizing because we are weighed down by regret, by shame, by the memory of how messy life has been. But you cannot move forward carrying those burdens. Acknowledge the past, learn from it, and then release it. Organizing your life is not about perfection. It is about progress. It is about progress. It is about choosing to take control where you can, to create order in the areas where chaos has held sway. Your past does not define you unless you allow it to. You are not your mistakes. You are not your clutter. You are the force that decides to bring structure, clarity, and intention into your days. Write down your goals, but don't stop there. Break them into actionable steps. Schedule those steps. Track your progress. Celebrate the small wins. There is nothing motivational about hoping for change. The power lies in doing the work. Organizing your life requires action. It requires consistency. It requires consistency. It requires accountability. And yes, it requires persistence because there will be setbacks. But each setback is simply a reminder to return to your plan, to adjust and to continue. Life rewards the disciplined, the intentional, the determined. Do not underestimate the power of a simple routine. Routines are not boring. They are liberation. They free your mind from decision fatigue. They give structure to chaos. They allow you to focus on what truly matters instead of being pulled in every direction. Morning routines, nightly ritual, weekly check-ins, they may seem small, but over time they create a rhythm of life that keeps you centered, focused, and moving toward your purpose. And understand this, organizing your life is a spiritual act as much as it is practical. When you create order, you are honoring your gifts, your dreams, and your calling. You are declaring that your time, your energy, your attention, and your life matter. You are choosing to live intentionally, not haphazardly. You are choosing to walk in purpose even when life is messy, even when circumstances are unpredictable. Organization is not just about the outside. It's about aligning your inner world with your outer actions so you can live with integrity, clarity, and impact. Every decision you make today sets the tone for tomorrow. Every action you take now, no matter how small, is an investment in the life you want to lead. And sometimes forcing yourself to organize feels like pushing a boulder uphill. But each push, each intentional step creates momentum. You begin to feel lighter, clearer, stronger. The chaos begins to lose its grip, and the life you dream about starts to become tangible. You are capable of more than you realize, and the act of forcing yourself to take control is proof of your courage, your resilience, and your vision. So start now, not tomorrow, not when it feels easier, not when life seems less chaotic. Start now. Take one step. Make one choice. Clear one corner of your mind, your space, or your schedule. Choose one relationship that needs boundary. Eat one healthy meal. Sleep 1 hour earlier. Sleep 1 hour earlier. Write down one goal and a small step toward achieving it. Small actions repeated daily create extraordinary results. And you will find that once you start, the momentum will build, order will attract more order, clarity will create more clarity, peace will draw more peace, and the life that once felt overwhelming, unmanageable, and chaotic will begin to feel like a life you can breathe in, a life you can shape, a life that reflects the greatness within you. You have to force yourself because no one else will do it for you. Life does not owe you order. Life does not pause for your comfort. The choice to organize, to bring structure, to align your mind, your body, your space, and your relationships with your purpose, the choice is yours. It is not easy. It is not instantaneous, but it is transformative. And every time you make that choice, you step into the version of yourself that can live freely, fully, intentionally, and powerfully. Your mind is the command center of your life. What happens in your thoughts will eventually happen in your world. What happens in your thoughts will eventually happen in your world. Yet so many of us allow our minds to run wild with unfinished business, scattered ideas, self-doubt, and worry. We carry the weight of every possible scenario, imagining worst-case outcomes, replaying mistakes, and wondering if we'll ever get it right. But the truth is, if your mind is chaotic, your life will reflect that chaos. You cannot walk into clarity with a cluttered mind. You cannot expect to take control of your life if your thoughts are being hijacked by fear, indecision, or distraction. That is why the first step in organizing your life is intentional control over your mind. It starts with awareness. You must notice what you're thinking, how you're speaking to yourself, and which voices you allow to dominate your inner conversation. Many people think they are thinking clearly, but often we are just reacting. We respond to emails immediately, check our phones compulsively, scroll endlessly through feeds, and make decisions based on pressure or emotion rather than clarity. If you want to organize your life, you have to take ownership of your attention. Ask yourself, where is my focus right now? Is it on what truly matters, or is it scattered across distractions? Writing down your thoughts, your priorities, and your goals is a form of discipline that allows you to see the shape of your mind. When you put your thoughts on paper, you create space. You stop letting everything swirl in your head. You take something abstract, your worries, your plans, your dreams, and make them tangible, manageable, and actionable. But awareness is not enough. You must also decide what belongs in your mind and what does not. Let go of thoughts that serve no purpose other than to create anxiety or keep you stagnant. This is not about ignoring reality or pretending problems do not exist. It is about refusing to let negativity dominate your thinking. Replace fear with faith, doubt with strategy, and indecision with clarity. You will not feel motivated to do this every day, and that is why forcing yourself to take control matters. You will wake up tired, overwhelmed, or distracted, and yet the decision to focus, to write, to plan, and to organize is a choice you make despite how you feel. That choice is what moves your life from chaos to order. Once your mind is being intentionally directed, your next step is your time. Time is your most precious resource, yet it is the easiest to waste. So many people live as if time is endless, giving hours to distractions, obligations that don't align with their purpose, and habits that pull them away from their goals. But here is the truth. No one can organize your time for you. No one can plan your hours, your days, or your weeks better than you. You must take ownership. You must map out your life in increments, prioritize the things that matter most, and protect your time. Fiercely, begin by identifying what is non-negotiable, what must happen each day for you to move forward, what is essential to your purpose, your family, your health, your growth. Then schedule everything else around it. When you create intentional boundaries around your time, you create freedom, freedom from regret, freedom from chaos, freedom from the constant feeling of being behind or scattered. Scheduling is not a punishment. It is a tool. It is a framework that allows your priorities to breathe and flourish. Many people resist structure because they think it is restrictive, but without structure, life is dictated by impulse, by other people's agendas, and by circumstances that are beyond your control. A well-structured day does not remove spontaneity, it empowers it. When you know what is important and when you dedicate intentional blocks of time to those things, you find that the rest of your day becomes more manageable, more peaceful, and more productive. Time management is not just about doing more, it is about doing what matters and letting go of what does not. And just as your mind and time must be organized, so must your environment. The spaces you inhabit are mirrors of your internal state. Cluttered rooms, stacks of papers, unwashed dishes, piles of laundry, they are external representations of internal chaos. You cannot expect to think clearly, act intentionally, or feel at peace when your surroundings are messy. Organizing your environment is an act of self-respect, a declaration that your life matters and that you are willing to take responsibility for the conditions in which you live, work, and rest. When you take the time to clean, to organize, and to create intentional spaces, your mind will follow. You will notice that your thoughts become sharper, your decisions easier, and your energy lighter. Start small. Begin with one corner of your home or workspace. Clear a drawer, organize your desk, declutter a closet. It may seem insignificant at first, but these small victories compound over time. They teach you that you can create order, you can bring structure to chaos, and that you can bring structure to chaos, and that you are capable of handling more than you thought. And as you expand that discipline to larger areas of your life, you will see a ripple effect. Your surroundings, your time, and your thoughts all start to align, and suddenly you are no longer reacting to life, you are leading it. Intentionality also requires that you set boundaries in your environment. Protect your space from distractions, interruptions, and negativity. This may mean limiting social media use, creating quiet hours for focused work, or setting rules for your home to maintain order. Your environment is sacred because it influences your ability to think, create, and act. Guard it. Treat it as a reflection of your priorities. When your surroundings are intentional, you feel empowered, capable, and prepared to tackle your goals. Another aspect of taking intentional control is learning to manage incoming information. So much of our mental chaos comes from what we allow to enter our minds. Emails, notifications, news, social media feeds, conversations, they all demand attention, but not all of them deserve it. Decide what you will consume and what you will ignore. Curate your input just as carefully as you curate your environment. Feed your mind with things that educate, inspire, and uplift you. Avoid the things that drain, distract, or overwhelm you. This is an act of self-discipline that will give you mental clarity and the ability to focus on what truly matters. And remember, organizing your life is not about perfection. It is about taking control in a world that often feels uncontrollable. It is about creating structures and habits that allow you to think clearly, manage your time wisely, and live in spaces that support your purpose. You will make mistakes. You will have days when your environment gets messy, your schedule gets disrupted, or your mind is scattered. That is okay. What matters is that you return to the process, recommit to intentionality, and take another step forward. Every day that you choose to organize your mind, your time, and your environment is a day that you reclaim power over your life. Force yourself to take these steps because waiting for motivation will never work. Waiting for clarity will never work. Life will not pause until you feel ready. The chaos will not disappear on its own. The only way to experience order is to choose it. Decide that your thoughts are worth organizing, your hours are worth protecting, and your environment is worth shaping. Decide that you will not be a passive participant in your own life. Force yourself to act. Force yourself to plan. Force yourself to create systems, spaces, and routines that support the life you desire. And as you practice this, you will notice transformation. Your mind becomes sharper, more decisive. Your time becomes productive, focused, and meaningful. Your environment becomes a reflection of peace and purpose. The chaos that once controlled you begins to diminish. You become a leader of your own life, a master of your choices, and a steward of your potential. You are not waiting for life to give you order. You are creating it. You are taking in intentional control. And in doing so, you lay the foundation for everything else in your life to flourish. Life will test you. Life will push you. Life will push you. Life will show up with situations, obstacles, and challenges that make you question whether it is even worth trying. But the truth is that growth, progress, and transformation are born out of resistance. Resistance is not your enemy. It is your signal. It is proof that you are stepping into discomfort, that you are stretching, that you are leaving behind the familiar and stepping into what you are capable of becoming. The path to organizing your life, the P. F to discipline, and the path to intentional living is not always easy. It is not always comfortable, and it is certainly not always convenient, but it is necessary. You will not stumble upon discipline by waiting for it to appear. You will not suddenly find motivation lying around the house. Discipline is something you create, something you cultivate, something you force yourself to embrace, even when every part of you resists. Resistance often comes in the form of excuses. I don't have time. I'm too tired. I'll do it later. I don't know where to start. These are not harmless thoughts. These are not harmless thoughts. They are distractions, chains that keep you from stepping into the life you are meant to live. Resistance will whisper in your ear, trying to convince you that you are not ready, not capable, not deserving. But you cannot let those whispers control your actions. You must respond with intentionality. You must act even when you do not feel like it. You must push forward even when your emotions scream retreat. Because the truth is, discipline is built in the moment you do the hard things when you do not want to. One of the first steps in building discipline is commitment. Our commitment is a decision you make to yourself that your life matters enough to take action consistently. It is the internal vow that no matter how difficult, how uncomfortable, or how inconvenient it may be, you will not abandon your purpose. Commitment requires consistency. It requires showing up every day, even when life feels heavy, even when you are overwhelmed, even when you doubt your abilities. There is no shortcut, no magic formula, no sudden burst of courage that will replace consistent action over time. You have to choose it, and then you have to keep choosing it. Discipline also requires structure. You cannot create order in chaos without rules, systems, and boundaries. Systems are not meant to restrict you. They are meant to empower you. They are the scaffolding on which your life can grow. They allow you to work through resistance, because when your actions are guided by a system, you do not have to rely solely on willpower. You create habits that move you forward automatically. Discipline is about replacing reliance on fleeting motivation with intentional routines, rituals, and practices that guide your life even when you do not feel like moving. And yes, discipline often feels uncomfortable because it requires you to do what is inconvenient. It asks you to prioritize long-term growth over short-term comfort. It asks you to resist the lure of distractions, the pull of immediate gratification, and the temptation to take the easy way out. It asks you to face your fears, your doubts, and the parts of yourself that you would rather ignore. But this discomfort is necessary. Growth never happens in comfort zones. Progress never happens while waiting for perfect conditions. The moment you step into discomfort willingly, that is the moment you begin to build a life of resilience, purpose, and control. You must also force yourself to take responsibility for your actions. Discipline is rooted in accountability. It is easy to blame circumstances, other people, or luck for where you are. It is easy to say, if only things were different, I could have done better. But the truth is that growth requires ownership. It requires looking at your life without excuses and asking, what can I do to change this? What can I control? What am I willing to do differently? When you take responsibility, you reclaim power. You no longer wait for someone else to organize your life, fix your problems, or create opportunities. You become the driver of your own destiny. Resistance also shows up in the form of procrastination. The mind knows that action requires effort, discomfort, and risk, so it tries to delay. It convinces you that tomorrow is a better day, that later is more convenient, that you are not ready now. But the danger of procrastination is that it steals time, energy, and momentum. Every time you delay, the pile of undone tasks grows, the stress accumulates, and the opportunity to move forward slips away. The antidote to procrastination is action. Force yourself to take the first step, even if it is small. Force yourself to begin. Momentum is built one action at a time, and once you start, resistance loses some of its power. Action creates confidence, clarity, and energy. Building discipline also requires emotional strength. Your feelings will often contradict your goals. You will feel tired when you need to move. You will feel doubtful when you need to believe. You will feel afraid when you need to act. Discipline is not about waiting for feelings to align with your intentions. It is about acting in spite of your feelings. It is about understanding that your emotions are signals, not directives. You do not need to wait to feel motivated to organize your life. You only need to act. And in that action, motivation often follows. Another important aspect of discipline is learning to embrace repetition. Transformation does not happen in a single heroic effort. It happens in small, consistent steps that are repeated day after day. You must practice patience and persistence. You must be willing to do the small, often tedious tasks that build structure, clarity, and order. It is in showing up consistently, even when progress feels slow, that you create results that last. Discipline is cumulative. Every choice you make to do what needs to be done strengthens your ability to continue doing it tomorrow, next week, next month, and beyond. And sometimes discipline requires sacrifice. There are things you will need to let go of to create the LA. If you desire comfort, convenience, and temporary pleasures often must take a back seat to long-term goals. You will need to say no to distractions, to unhealthy habits, and to relationships that do not punishment. It is investment. Every moment you dedicate to intentional action, every choice to prioritize purpose over comfort is an investment in your future self. And though it may feel challenging in the moment, the results will be worth the struggle. You must also embrace accountability outside of yourself. Share your goals with someone who can encourage, challenge, and hold you responsible. Accountability partners, mentors, or trusted friends can provide perspective, feedback, and encouragement when your own resolve wavers. Discipline is not a solitary journey. Sometimes you need support to maintain your focus and momentum, and there is no weakness in seeking it. Surround yourself with people who inspire you to act, who challenge you to rise, and who remind you of your potential when resistance tries to hold you back. It is also crucial to forgive yourself when you stumble. Discipline does not require perfection. You will have days when you falter, moments when you procrastinate, or instances when resistance wins temporarily. Do not allow failure to derail you. Acknowledge it, learn from it, and return to your commitment. The strongest people are not those who never struggle. They are those who rise repeatedly, who recommit after setbacks, and who continue to act in the face of resistance. Discipline is built in the returning, in the persistence, in the courage to keep moving forward despite the difficulties. You will begin to notice that the more you face resistance, the stronger you become. Every obstacle, every uncomfortable task, every challenge you confront is an opportunity to fortify your discipline. You will begin to trust yourself more, rely on your commitment rather than motivation, and understand that your life is not dictated by external circumstances, but by your internal resolve. Each act of discipline, no matter how small, builds confidence, clarity, and momentum. You begin to experience a life that is intentional rather than chaotic, empowered rather than reactive. Finally, understand that discipline is a lifelong practice, not a one-time achievement. There will always be challenges, distractions, and resistance. The difference between those who create a meaningful, organized life and those who drift through chaos is their ability to consistently act with intentionality. The choice to act, to persist, and to prioritize purpose over comfort, over doubt, over fear, is what separates those who live fully from those who merely exist. Every decision you make to face resistance, every effort to cultivate discipline, is a step toward the life you are meant to lead. Life will test you in ways that feel unfair, unrelenting, and sometimes even impossible. Challenges will rise when you least expect them. Obstacles will appear just as you think you have momentum, and fear will show up at the most inconvenient moments. But I want you to understand this. Resistance is not the enemy. Resistance is a signal. It is a sign that you are stepping outside of comfort, that you are confronting growth, that you are moving toward the life you were meant to live. You will never grow without encountering resistance. You will never learn your strength, develop your character, or step into your potential without moments of discomfort that force you to rise above. The life you desire does not exist without challenge. The peace you long for does not come without effort. The discipline that will organize your life comes from pushing through when everything inside you wants to stop. Resistance often comes in the form of excuses. I don't have time. I'm too tired. I'll start tomorrow. I don't know where to begin. These are not harmless thoughts. They are chains, keeping you from taking the steps you know are necessary. Resistance will try to convince you that now is not the right time, that the burden is too heavy, that you are not capable, that someone else should lead or fix what is yours to handle. You cannot allow those whispers to dictate your actions. You must act in spite of them. You must choose to move forward even when you do not feel like it. You must force yourself to act, because life will not wait for your perfect motivation to arrive. Discipline is not built in comfort. Discipline is forged in the discomfort of doing what is hard, what is inconvenient, what is required to create progress. It is easy to rely on motivation, but motivation is fleeting. Motivation will abandon you when life gets difficult, when circumstances become heavy, when fatigue sets in. Discipline is the bridge that takes you from where you are to where you want to be. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, not because you feel like it, but because you are committed to your purpose, your goals, and the vision of the life you desire. Commitment is the foundation of discipline. It is the moment you look yourself in the mirror and say, I will show up, I will persist, I will not quit. Commitment requires consistency. It is not a one-time declaration. It is the daily decision to honor your purpose. Every morning you wake up, you have a choice. You can surrender to resistance, you can stay in comfort, or you can decide that your life matters enough to push forward despite how you feel. That daily decision, repeated over time, is the cornerstone of discipline. It is in the showing up day after day that your life begins to shift. Structure is another essential element of building discipline. Chaos cannot coexist with intentionality. If you want to organize your life, if you want to create momentum, you must introduce structure into your days. Structure is not a cage, it is freedom. It allows you to know what matters, to focus on what matters, and to act intentionally rather than reactively. Systems and routines guide your actions when willpower falters. They provide a framework that ensures progress even when your energy is low, when distractions surround you, and when doubt creeps in. Discipline is amplified by structure because structure removes guesswork and ensures that your intentions are converted into action. Resistance also shows up as procrastination. It disguises itself as justification, convincing you that later is better than now, that the conditions must be perfect, that you must feel ready before taking action. But the danger of procrastination is that it robs you of momentum. Every time you delay, you reinforce the lie that action is optional. Momentum is created through movement, not intention. The simple act of starting, even imperfectly, begins to dismantle resistance. Each step forward generates energy, clarity, and confidence, and slowly, the life that once felt unmanageable starts to become tangible. Emotional strength is required to maintain discipline. Your feelings will often oppose your goals. You will feel tired when you need to move. You will feel doubtful when you need to believe. You will feel afraid when you need to act. Discipline is not about waiting for your emotions to align with your intentions. It is about acting in spite of them. Your feelings are signals, not directives. You must respond to them with intentional action, knowing that each step forward strengthens your resolve and gradually aligns your emotions with your purpose. Repetition is a critical part of building discipline. Transformation does not happen in a single heroic moment. It happens in small, consistent actions repeated over time. Every day you must show up, even when the tasks feel tedious, even when the progress seems slow, even when the results are invisible. Every repetition strengthens your habit, fortifies your character, and builds the muscle of discipline. It is in the repetition, in the persistence, in the continuous choosing to act despite discomfort that you create results that last. Sacrifice is often necessary in the pursuit of discipline. There are comforts you must give up, distractions you must resist, and habits you must change. You may need to say no to instant gratification in order to say yes to long-term growth. Discipline asks for short-term inconvenience in exchange for long-term freedom. Sacrifice is not punishment, it is investment. Every moment spent acting intentionally, every choice made to prioritize purpose over comfort, every hour dedicated to focus over distraction, compounds over time and yields extraordinary results. Accountability is another tool to strengthen discipline. While you must ultimately rely on your own choices, having external support enhances your ability to persist. Share your goals with someone you trust, someone who will challenge you, encourage you, and hold you responsible. Mentors, friends, or colleagues can provide perspective when resistance fades. L's overwhelming remind you of your capabilities when doubt arises and help you stay on track when life's distractions threaten to pull you off course. Discipline thrives in community because support and challenge reinforce your commitment. Forgiveness is a necessary part of sustaining discipline. You will falter, you will stumble, you will fall short. You will have days where resistance wins temporarily. Do not allow failure to derail you. Acknowledge it, learn from it, and return to the path. Discipline is not perfection, it is persistence. It is rising repeatedly, recommitting, and moving forward despite setbacks. The strongest people are not those who never struggle. They are those who rise again and again, proving to themselves that they are capable of consistency and courage. Every act of resistance you face is an opportunity. Every uncomfortable moment, every inconvenient choice, every challenge that pushes back against your goals is a chance to strengthen your discipline. The more you confront it, the more resilient you become. You begin to trust yourself more deeply, rely on your commitment rather than fleeting emotions, and discover that your life is shaped not by circumstances, but by your response to them. Discipline empowers you to act despite fear, fatigue, distraction, or doubt. It allows you to take control, to lead your life, and to create the reality you desire. You must also recognize that discipline is a lifelong practice, not a one-time achievement. There will always be challenges, setbacks, and resistance. What distinguishes those who achieve intentional, organized, and impactful lives is their willingness to persist, to act consistently, and to choose purpose over comfort, over doubt, over fear. Every time you make a choice to confront resistance, every time you take action despite reluctance, you are building the life you are meant to live. Understanding the connection between resistance and discipline is crucial. Resistance is inevitable, but it is also your teacher. It reveals your weaknesses, highlights your fears, and exposes the areas where you need to grow. Instead of running from it, embrace it. Sit with it, understand it, and then act anyway. Each time you act in spite of resistance, you are building inner strength, confidence, and momentum. You are training yourself to lead your life rather than being led by circumstance. The moment you commit to discipline, resistance loses its power. It may still be present, but you are no longer controlled by it. You begin to make decisions based on long-term vision rather than short-term comfort. You take action even when you do not feel like it. You move forward even when doubt is loud. And in that movement, you discover that your life is not determined by ease or convenience, but by persistence, consistency, and courage. Discipline is not punishment. It is freedom. It is the ability to organize your life, to take control of your choices, to create momentum, and to step into your potential. It is the ability to look at chaos and say, I am capable of creating order. I am capable of acting with intention. I am capable of building the life I desire. Each decision to confront resistance, to persist through discomfort, to act when it is inconvenient, and to stay committed to your goals strengthens you and brings you closer to the life you are meant to live. You will begin to notice transformation. Your ability to act with intention grows stronger. Your confidence rises. Your momentum accelerates. The challenges that once seemed insurmountable begin to feel manageable. You are no longer reactive. You are proactive. You are no longer led by fear, doubt, or hesitation. You are guided by purpose, discipline, and vision. Every choice to act despite resistance shapes your character, fortifies your spirit, and builds the foundation for a life of intentional living. And as you continue to confront resistance, build habits, and act consistently, you realize that discipline is not just about controlling your actions. It is about shaping your life. It is about creating the structure, momentum, and focus necessary to achieve your dreams. It is about proving to yourself that you are capable of more than you imagine, that you can rise above challenges, and that the life you desire is within your reach if you are willing to persist through discomfort and act with intention every single day. When you look at your life honestly, you will see that chaos, distraction, and resistance are not signs that you are failing. They are signs that you are being called to rise. Every messy thought, every unstructured day, every uncomfortable moment is an invitation to step into intentionality, to take ownership, and to live fully. You have the power to organize your mind, to guard your time, and to shape your environment. You have the strength to confront resistance, to build discipline, and to act consistently. Even when it is hard, you have the wisdom to prioritize what truly matters, to establish boundaries, to align every area of your life with purpose. Transformation does not come to those who wait. It comes to those who decide to act, who choose to step forward, who refuse to let excuses, fear, or uncertainty dictate the outcome of their day. See, each small choice you make compounds over time. Each intentional action, no matter how minor, becomes the foundation for momentum, growth, and lasting change. Life will not pause for your comfort, and clarity will not arrive without your effort. But you are capable of creating it, and you are worthy of it. But you are capable of creating it, and you are worthy of it. So take control of your thoughts, your time, your space, and your relationships. Step into discomfort and embrace the discipline that resistance demands. The resistance demands. Celebrate the small victories, persist through setbacks, and remember that every deliberate choice is a declaration that your life matters. The life you desire, the organized, purposeful, empowered life, is not a distant dream. It is waiting for you to claim it. You have everything you need within you to start today, to rise above the chaos and to create a life that reflects your true potential, because the power to change your life has always been in your hands.